How's it going, everyone? This is Christian Duke from StrengthAddicts.com with the beautiful women's physique pro, Tycie Coppett, at the Arnold Classic 2015. Tycie, how's it going today, and what do you think of this great event?
It's going fabulous. The women's physique, it's our first time here at the Arnold Classic, so it's certainly an honor and a privilege to be here amongst all of the great people, the great venues, and the great fans. It's a fabulous experience.
Awesome. Well, I think for the people at home that don't know your story, if you could share with us, where did you grow up? And, of course, what inspired you to start weight training and building this beautiful physique that we see before us today?
Oh, thank you. I actually grew up in Fort Lauderdale, Florida, and we transitioned to Georgia, and I ran track and played basketball there, and that's where I developed my love for sports. I transitioned to the University of Georgia, where I ran track and began lifting weights for the first time, and I saw how my body was really responding to the weights, and I liked the look, and so I kept lifting, and after college, I decided that I wanted to compete, and did my first figure competition. No, actually it was bodybuilding. Did my first bodybuilding competition back in 2000. And I developed my love for the sport just because it's a sport where you are able to exemplify your strengths. You grow emotionally, you grow physically, you grow mentally. It's a wonderful outlet. And so that's how I developed my love for the sport.
That's awesome. And I think away from the stage, talking about your, I guess what somebody would call their 9-to-5 job, you have like a 9 to 10, 11 job, I don't know. Talk to us about, what you do for a living. What don't you do for a living?
Yeah. I have like 12 jobs.
Oh my gosh.
I'm actually a full-time college administrator.
Wow.
And then I'm a part-time online professor where I teach online classes, business classes. I am also a third-year doctoral student back at the University of Georgia, Go Dogs, and I hope to finish that program in about a year.
That's really inspiring. I mean, there's people, there's competitors out there like, competing is their job. You know what I mean? That's
right.
all they do. And here you are, doctoral student, administrator, you know what I mean? And arguably, third on paper, best in the world, and arguably second, but, and you've got that. So I guess let's get back to the stage a little bit. Talk to us a little bit about that very first show that you did. I know you mentioned a date. I don't personally believe you, but talk to us about your first show. Take us from there to where you turned pro, and then, of course, take us here where we are today, 2015 Arnold Classic.
My first show, many don't know the depth of my story, but my first show was back in probably 2000, and I competed in bodybuilding back then and did well. Placed second, qualified for nationals, but they wanted me to be a little bit bigger. I didn't want to get that big at that time. Still loved the sport, loved lifting, and just kept going on. And then they developed figure. I transitioned into figure. Did well and came off the scene, and then came back in 2005, 2006, came off the scene, and then came back in 2010, and so that's the story that made.
But please tell us you're here to stay for now. Okay.
I'm here to stay now, so that's the journey that has led me to where I am now, to the Olympics.
And that pro show, the first pro show, where you turned pro, where did you turn pro?
I turned pro in 2011 at Nationals. November 2011 at Nationals. And physique actually is my first time ever competing in the physique category. I had to make the decision, figure or physique. And I made the decision on a whim. And transitioned to physique and haven't looked back since.
Awesome. Now, as far as, I know I said, take us to the Arnold, but I would be remiss if I didn't ask you about the Olympia last year, where you took, I think, again, a controversial third behind Juliana Malacarne, who won the Olympia, and inaugural Miss Olympia, Dana Lynn Bailey. I know that before the interview, I sort of talked about it a little bit. Usually in physique-based sports, if you are, man or woman, if you're going to take out an Olympia, Mr. or Miss Olympia, there's really only two factors that I know of. Either the person comes in horribly off or they're injured. I mean, I really can't think of another situation. But your situation, you actually have to take out two Miss Olympias, the first Miss Olympia and the reigning Miss Olympia. And while there have been competitors before that have competed against two Mr. or Miss Olympias, you're competing against two Miss Olympias in the prime of their career. So it's not like you're competing against a reigning Miss Olympia and a has-been, no offense, but you're competing against two in their prime. The one is the Miss Olympia now, and the other is arguably the most popular of the two and the most popular competitor in the entire division in the world. The judges have rewarded you because you've brought a great physique, but what's that like for you? I mean, what's in your head right now? I guess
Yeah, you know what? When I look at it in the 360, Juliana and Dana are amazing. They're amazing ambassadors for the sport. They have amazing physiques, and their placements are warranted. And so to be able to battle with them on stage, at the Olympia, at the Arnold Classic, it just makes me want to be better. It makes me hungrier.
Absolutely.
And, it keeps me driven. It keeps me motivated. And the wonderful thing is that we're all friends, and that we motivate each other, and that there's no animosity, and that we really celebrate one another. And so I celebrate the fact, and respect the fact that they are. Juliana is the reigning Miss Olympia and now the inaugural women's physique Arnold Classic champion, and Dana Lynn Bailey as well. So again, to stand with them on the same stage and to stand third behind them is an honor and a privilege.
Awesome. Now, of course, I would think, coming in third at last year's Miss Olympia women's physique, coming in third again at the Arnold here, again meaning behind DLB and Juliana, I would think that you would probably be getting a lot of press. RX Muscle, Flex Magazine, Muscular Development. Has that been the case? I mean, have they come in swarms to say, hey, Tycie, let's get you in the magazine, or hey, Tycie, let's get you on our radio shows? I mean, what has that been?
I have not had the wonderful opportunity to work with them yet,
Sure.
but I'm waiting for you guys. I would
Right.
love to work with you and connect with you. I love what they're doing for the sport. I love their promotions. I love their coverage. They do an amazing job with the play-by-plays and the pictures, getting them out and expeditiously after the shows. And I would, love the opportunity to one day to sit down and talk with someone to share with them my appreciation for what they do for us every day.
Absolutely. And you have done some online stuff, though. You've done some online radio, I believe.
I did. I worked with Jason Adams and Jilly Reveal with promoting Real Women Radio. So that was a wonderful opportunity as well.
Excellent. Now, I know that when you're on top right now, I mean, you're thinking, you got your trophy there. Could you show us your trophy? That's beautiful.
Thank you.
Awesome. When you're on top, I know that, there's a lot of things going through your mind. You're thinking about, of course, being number one. You're thinking about, your career as far as the business aspect goes. But I guess I would like to ask you, was there anyone in the lineup? And it sounds like there was an incredible depth to this lineup, as there always is with the Arnold Classic. The Olympia's qualification, which is tough as it is, but the Arnold, you could win a bunch of shows. If they don't think you've got the physique, they're not going to invite you.
Right.
Is there anyone in the lineup that I guess you could say caught your eye, that you think is really on the right track?
When I saw the list, the invitational list, I was really excited because really it was a duplicate from the Olympia.
Okay.
And so those women are all stellar,
Okay.
in their own rights. And so looking at the lineup, in my opinion, and the way that my mind trains as an athlete,
Yes.
is that on any given day, anyone can win.
Right.
There's always a dark horse. There's always someone that's working harder, that's hungry to be on top. So I never, ever underestimate any one of my women's physique.
Your colleagues, yeah.
Never.
That's awesome.
Not at all, because you never know. And so again, on any given day, anyone can win.
Absolutely. And I guess as we wrap up the interview, I really would like to ask you, what are some of your short and long-term goals for the sport? And also, who would you like to thank for, everything up until this point?
My short-term goal is to really get out on the scene a little bit more, because I'm really behind the scenes. But I absolutely love motivational speaking. I love encouraging.
Nice. Absolutely.
I love inspiring. And so that's really in my heart to do, to be able to do a little bit of traveling and to give back, in a sense, in my way, which is to motivate the fans and motivate those that support the industry as well. So that's my short-term goal.
Okay. And long-term?
Long-term goal is always to continue to remain on top. Always continue to strive to be a great ambassador for the sport, to support the sport, to support my fellow
competitors. And
yes, absolutely.
And I have to say too, just to sort of piggyback off what you said about staying on top, you're totally on your own. I mean, you prepare yourself for these shows, and I guess at the end of the day, there really is no, I don't want to curse, but there's no half-assing it, really. I mean, it's like you have to look at yourself in the mirror. It's not like you got to call a prep guru and say, you know, I kind of fell off the wagon a little bit. I mean, you are your own prep coach.
Right. Yeah, I mean, I'm really my own accountability partner. There's no one there every day. You know, one last set, you got another rep. There's none of that in my ear in the gym. And so somehow I found the amazing ability through Grace to be able to withstand and to have the fortitude to train myself and prep myself. And, you know, I really know the ins and outs of my body. And when when I have questions or I may guess myself, I always ask my sister to give me a second opinion, and she works really well with me, providing me those little small tweaks, because when you see yourself every day, to me, I always look the same. But it's an amazing ability and an amazing honor, I guess, to be able to train myself and to be at this level, to be able to do that. So I'm so grateful for God's grace to be able to give me the ability to do what I do. And
I really think honor is the best term, because I mean, let's not forget, I mean, you are amongst the best in the world. I mean, this is not an American sport. This is all around the world. As far as long-term goals go, also someone such as yourself that preps yourself, that has done so well, what kind of companies would you like to work with? I mean, would you like to work with supplement companies, clothing, apparel? You had mentioned motivational speaking. I mean, what would you like to do as far as the business aspect of the sport goes?
You know, I'm still working that out. You know, I definitely want to align with someone that is in sync with my goals and my values and what I believe in as well. And so it would be an opportunity that I would visit. And, you know, once it's presented to me, to be able to name out names at this time,
of course,
X, Y, and Z, I can't really say that right now. But just in the big scheme of things, my goal is to give back in some way.
Absolutely.
And so I definitely like to support even my local competitors in Georgia. I'm always at all the shows. I'm here in Ohio, actually. They've invited me a couple of times here for posing clinics. And so just to be able to give back is my joy.
Absolutely. And the last question, the shout outs. I mean, who would you like to thank as we close out the interview?
Thank you, God, for allowing me to make it this far by grace and to be able to be on the stage that I am, to motivate the world and inspire the world. And I also would like to thank my wonderful friends and family who are always so supportive, who always choose restaurants where I can eat and eat healthy while on my meal prep. And so I have a great support system, and I'm eternally grateful for that. So thank you.
Well, thank you very much for the beautiful, talented, gifted women's physique pro Tycie Coppett. This is Christian Duke, StrengthAddicts.com.